This week we're all about stencils and the tons of ways you can use them.
Right, and we have 2 new stencils to show you today, and I'm going to show you lots of those ways that we're talking about.
Right, and the stencils are Sparkle Bright and Music Notes, so that's going to be fun. Come play with us. Okay, and like I said, Sparkle More and Music Notes.
And music notes. And these are our 6x6 stencils,
Right.
and we are going to start with this one.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, one thing I want to tell you,
All right.
because they're hot off the press, you are always going to get an idea on the back.
Right.
So we feel like that's jump-starting your creativity, and then we show you some other ones too.
Yeah.
And so we've done that on both. In fact, we're going to show you both of those cards, so
Great.
so you're not missing anything. So
So we'll start with Sparkle More.
Right, and here is the card, and this is a great example. This one has glitter on it,
Right.
and some lots of different things happening with it.
Now, what I want to talk about a little bit is about, okay, everything you get on this stencil, and you're seeing pretty much almost everything on there is on the card. I think maybe on the inside you get the rest of it, but I like that you can sort of break these up and use them in different ways, and the way you can do that is by putting some sticky notes or something like that, Post-its, and covering up, masking off those other areas, and then doing those one bit at a time.
And I think to go along with what you're saying is that in seeing a stencil, you might just think, okay, that's my format, that's what I'm going to use, but being able to do the bits and pieces, and that little butterfly has been used as a paper piecing,
template,
right?
So you can trace and cut out of different little pieces of paper. You put a little glitter on the center. I do want to show you how to. Oh,
Here's
you're
the
going to show
inside. Well, I just thought it might be nice to show because there are the 3 things: dream big, sparkle more,
shows,
shine bright.
I love that tying in the ribbon. You just have one little strip of it here, but on the front you've got a full-on bow.
And that's the metallic ribbon.
So
okay, now you can go.
That's done on the hopscotch papers too, I believe. The Sweet Life or hopscotch papers. Anyway,
don't ask me hard questions. In the gallery is where you will find the answer to that.
Yeah. Anyway, so here's the paper and here's the stencil. Now, if I want to do those words one at a time, you'll notice that the word dream was actually done in green glitter and big was done in black glitter. So you don't want to do all of that at once. You want to do it one at a time. And to do that, we're using flitter glue for this. It works great for attaching glue. I just get a little bit. I'm going to put this right on my craft. No, I'm going to put it on the paper. No, that's right. That was my decision. Come on out of there. Did I
actually,
open it?
Open it. Right? That will be an important thing. One of the things that I'm a fan of is having a product like a stencil that you can use a lot of different mediums with. I just think that not only expands our creativity, but let's just use the stuff in our stash.
Right. So you've got something like that. You can just keep using it for lots of different ways and getting lots of different looks, so that you're not always sending, I don't know, the same card to a bunch of people.
Just expanding the creativity for you too, to have some different techniques. And this is a neat one.
So I'm just going through, I've got a cosmetic wedge, I've got that glue. I went just through the word dream. So now you can see that got, with the flitter glue, that's on there, it's ready to go. And I've got this glitter. I'm just going to take the lid off. And this comes from like an extra value pack.
Right. There are, I think, 24 glitters in these little tubes.
Right. So just sprinkle a little of that on there. And then I'm going to shake it around a little, make sure it gets all over that word.
Kind of like you do embossing powder.
Yeah. And then just tap it off.
Wow.
And
easy
one at a
peasy.
time. I must have got a little glue right up the top, but I can just sort of pull it off.
Right.
Use my fingernail to get the extra off.
So then you would reposition the stencil and go back to do the big.
That's right.
And using
one at a time. Do one word at a time. If you're worried about it moving around, give it a minute or 2 to dry completely, and then go ahead and put the next one. And you can always use a paintbrush to sort of get the extra glitter off. around it.
Okay.
So, really simple.
Now, flitter glue we know about with mega flakes and gilding flakes and metal leaf.
Right,
but,
that's what it's usually used for. You can use it for other purposes as well.
Very good. I also love the flower in the different colors as well as, so the sparkle more.
Right. So even the center was done separately.
Okay, that was a different color too. So very pretty. And with the flitter glue holding this, I'm not having that glitter rub off on my fingers. I mean, not at all. So, you know, that's kind of the detriment to glitter, is that how fun it is to wear for days. And so that's not going to happen with the flitter glue. And like you said, we'll get in close on the butterflies just so you can see a little bit of the glitter going into the center. I guess that's as close as we're going to get. John is sick today, and Michelle, hi Michelle. Hi. She waved, she's not speaking a word. She's subbing for us, and there we go. Okay.
Doing a good job.
Now, for a very different look, so we've got sparkly there. Here we've got the mica powders, and I love this look.
Right, now there's more shimmery and shine.
Yes.
Just look at that.
That's beautiful.
It's almost like a light is shining behind it. They do really especially well on dark backgrounds, but they work great on lighter backgrounds too.
Now we have a million almost colors of mica powders. They come in these containers. The containers don't look giant, but what's amazing about the mica powders is you use such a tiny, finite amount to get a look like this. And I think it was really clever to do the leaves in silver. I mean, now this way the flowers really are the color that's going on.
I have to tell you, now I did this card, and the reason that I thought of that was moonshine, which is, or moon shimmer or something, which is one of the colors.
Moonstone.
Moonstone. And it made me think of that, a nighttime sort of a shadow. And anyway, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of a neat thing. But
those are the other colors.
One of the interesting things you're looking at on the card is that some of the flowers are behind some of the other flowers.
Yes.
Okay, now to be able to accomplish that, here's what I did. I actually started by taking the template or the stencil and tracing it onto paper. So I traced that shape onto paper, and I actually traced it onto a Post-it note, and then I left sort of the gluey part. You can sort of feel it there still, and then I traced it out. I only had to trace like the outer edges of it. Then I cut it out, and then I placed that
So you made a mask.
I made a mask.
Stampers, you know about that.
And I'm going to use that mask first, and then I stick it on, and then when I do one of the flowers, and the first one I did like off the edge, then I actually placed it, there it is, right, over the edge just like that. Now, once it's there, I get my Versamark.
So at this point, Versamark is going to be your adhesive, like the flitter glue was.
Right,
okay.
I get my Versamark and a cosmetic wedge, and I go right through just that area of the flower.
Okay.
So that's how you start. You want to do the background flowers first with the mask in place.
Sure.
And after we create those, then we can remove the mask and do the next flower. So, I think I kind of missed it a little bit.
You weren't perfect? I am shocked.
Well, you know, I'm perfect if I go back and replace it and do it again. I'm going to mess it up if I do it now.
Yeah,
I really didn't get it, but all right, here are the mica flakes, which are just very mica powders, and just get a little bit of it and just start.
It just takes a little tiny bit.
Right. Just start going around like so, and you can see it picks right up on that right away.
It's sort of magic. I mean, it just is. So then you would just continue brushing to remove the excess.
Keep brushing, remove the excess, and I would do another flower over here.
Here, that's what she's talking about.
And then when I remove the mask, I'll be able to add a purple flower right there with those pink ones behind.
So your process would be, you've got your mask doing this one and this one, although you might have two masks when you got to this one.
Sure.
And then so with those two masks in place, you would do the 3 pink, remove the mask, and do the 2 purples.
Do the purples.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
And she didn't finish the inside of the card, but the front of it is just beautiful. So, and then you're moving the positioning of the flowers, so it's going up, kind of making this curve, which is really pretty.
It's kind of, well, it frames the shine bright part there. I also want to mention that when I'm done doing mica powders, in this way with a Versamark, I usually spritz it with a little bit of water with a real fine mister
Really?
like the one we sell to help set it. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yep, make sure
Okay.
it doesn't rub off too easily.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay. The other thing that you use, keeping your shiny bits, is the silver paper. And this is paper, but it does have the shine. So you can see that it really supports everything
Right.
that you're seeing in the card.
I love the bling in the center too. That really
Yeah.
helps them to pop.
Just a rhinestone for dotting the eye and in the center. So really nicely done. Now for yet another look, we have the same one used a bit differently, as you can see, but this time with gelatos.
With gelatos.
And this is a very sunshiny color palette.
Right.
This is with the yellow set, and in the gelatos from Faber-Castell, we've got all sorts of combinations, including a giant box,
Oh, yeah.
a decorator box that has
Now,
tons of them.
These are fun. It almost feels like you're going back to preschool a little bit when you start with them because it's a soft, like a crepe sort of a thing, and they're waxy. They're
Okay.
like waxy but soft crayons.
Okay, bring it on.
And they're fun to color with, and I've got lots of little items here that I'm going to use. I'm starting with that stencil, and I masked off the areas around the flower because I only want to use the flower. But I'm
Okay.
going to actually start with glossy cardstock.
Hmm.
And this just sort of makes it easy to mix gelatos. If you have a piece of glossy cardstock, it works really well. And you can mix them with a baby wipe as well, but in this way, I need to move that up a
Oh,
little
you're putting
bit.
that on first.
I'm putting that on first, and I'm doing it in different areas like this, and I kind of like a lot of the yellow, so I'm gonna start with the yellow, and we're just scribbling. That's what I'm talking about when I say back to preschool. You sort of scribble everything on like that, and that's fun.
I'll share this with Penelope.
Yeah, you do this part, and then watch what we do next.
She was very entranced with the color burst, I will tell
Oh,
you.
wonderful. Oh, yeah. You let her get into the craft room and she'll never get out. And then, since it's on glossy cardstock, this works pretty well that you spritz it with just a little bit of water. And then Debbie said she used her finger to just sort of blend them a little bit.
Ah,
And I
you
agree.
could do a baby wipe if that bothers you.
You could do that too, but this is actually kind of fun. I haven't tried this before. I'm just
It's almost watercolory,
Yeah.
or finger paint, I guess
yeah,
that's
there
what.
you go. So now they're blended where you want them. You notice that I didn't go like this across
Yeah.
the whole thing. If I had, I would have lost those individual areas.
Okay.
So I don't want that to happen. I would let this dry a little bit, but I think it's drying pretty much, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. And the next thing I'm going to do is take my stencil, and I'm going to place it wherever I want one of those flowers.
So, want to go in the middle?
Yeah, wherever you like.
Okay. I like it right there.
And then I do get a baby wipe out. No particular kind of baby wipe, just whatever you have handy. And start wiping through the stencil.
That's where you're getting the white.
Right. So that's
Okay.
removing the gelatos. And then you pick it up. And ta-da.
Wow.
Now, if I had let it dry a little bit more, you wouldn't see this little beading up around it. But you can see that. And then just move them to wherever you want and just start making flowers. Isn't it simple?
That is really
Let's see how quick I can do it. Do another
interesting.
one. So super
Wow.
cool. Really simple. Do that all over the whole
Okay.
thing.
And that's what you'll get.
Right.
Now, this is also a nice example, not only of that technique, but using black as a very contrasting to cover your card, and then black jewel dazzles for the centers of the
Right.
flowers. So
Isn't
we
that fun?
turn them into black
Flower
s-
centers.
Yeah.
Right. And then the word shine,
Shine.
which is also from the stencil, that was done. And then some stickles were added to the word as well.
Okay, so right over shine, we do have an inside here and sparkle. So very fun card to receive
Right.
with lots of things going on. Okay, now we're going to go to the music notes. You want to pull in the
Okay.
stencil? So this one has kind of a duo purpose.
Right.
You have this that could be a background,
Right.
and then you have kind of a focal. And
Right.
what I love about doing music notes is that it's perfect for a card that is just a note.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
That's a great one. Just a note. That's
But
really great.
scrapbookers, are you watching? I
Okay.
hope you are, because look at this scrapbook page. So you can see that we have the music notes down there. with our little pianist, and looking very proud, I might say.
And the addition here is the gold metal leaf.
Yes.
So that's that shine that you're seeing where the musical notes are, and that's a perfect use of it. So here you've got it as a focal. So it's really standing out here at the bottom, and then you've got your main area here and just a little bit of an additional border at the top.
And the metal leaf comes in sheets, and there are 25 sheets in a pack.
Right.
And you're going to apply it with
flitter glue,
Yeah.
and I would use a cosmetic sponge right through the stencil onto the paper. So you go ahead, just the way we did it for the glitter, go ahead and apply that, and then you can just lay down one of those sheets, and it's okay if it gets torn. The sheets,
it's fine.
It makes no difference whatsoever. You put it down, you can use little pieces and kind of finish off that and just brush them off with another cosmetic wedge.
Right, very, very easy to do, and a very outstanding look. Again, it's beautiful, especially against darker backgrounds. This is kind of a medium to dark purple.
Although we do have some darker metal leaf available as well as mega flakes that can work on lighter areas.
Right, but actually I have to take it back because look at the
Right,
gold
there it
on
is
that
on the
light
light.
blue. But I love the look that you're going to get. It's
That's
just stunning. So, and you never see, okay, I never see something like this used in scrapbooking. And I just think it's a shame because these materials are beautiful on scrapbook pages. They're flat, they're lightweight, and they're going to give you a look that you're not going to get any other way.
I think that's kind of a fun thing about scrapbooking. There are different ways of using scrapbook pages. I mean, some of them you don't want anything that's going to puff up too much. You want them laying flat. And some of them are frameable art, and that's where the different media comes from too. And you're about to bring in this, the metallic specialty paper that's been used here. You can see it right there.
Been cut into strips or as mats, just to support that gold finish with the metal leaf. So gorgeous, gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Now going to our cards, this is the card that is on the back of the package. And I thought this was just brilliant, quite frankly. And there are two different things that are being used. So you're going to show us that?
Right. We're going to start with that big focal right in the front. So I've got a piece of white cardstock here, and I've got that stencil ready to go. And and I have stencil tape.
I was just going to ask you about that.
You know, you don't see me use it very often because I'm always in a hurry, but it is so useful in so many different. Slow down and do the right thing.
And besides, it won't tear your paper, so that's really the benefit.
So I've got it taped down now, so it's not going to go anywhere. And I've got black embossing paste here, and I have one of our palette knives, which I can never remember the name of.
I'm here for you.
One of our palette knives.
You're almost out of embossing
paste.
paste.
I didn't know we were so low. And we're just going to swipe it. And
I think we have more.
We do. I should go get some. Right after this, that's what I'm going to do. And you just swipe it and make a thin layer right across. I would mask off the top and bottom, but just for showing you what I'm doing, I'm sort of moving it across this way.
And you want to be able to feel the stencil as you're sliding this, so you don't want it to be black everywhere. You want to be able to see the stencil.
Right, you just want a thin layer. I'm just going to do just a little part of it so that you know what we're doing, so that after you've done that, before you allow that to dry, and I sort of put a big glob on there and pushed it underneath the stencil a little bit, so we won't do that when we do it. Then then you get the glitter and you just sprinkle it on while the embossing powder is still wet. You don't want to wait. So if it was me, because this the paste will dry on your stencil really quickly, I usually have a tray of water sitting around that I can just toss that in so that it won't dry on there, and then just tap that off
and
let it dry.
We'll get see the sparkle. There we go. It's just really pretty.
Right, and then Debbie just cut out around the edges. Now I did this on white cardstock. I'm pretty sure that Debbie did that on a patterned paper, which is another fun look.
Right. Now she's done that with this one, and she's foam taped it, but the background are the music notes.
Right.
And that's I love that look with that kind of gray color.
Right, it's sort of ghosted in, and that was done with one of the mini distress ink sets, which you're going to see a few of them here today. They're fun.
This is number 5.
This is number 5. You get all 4 of these, and that was done with pumice stone. So in the background, you just get that sort of shaded look. And I would use a cosmetic sponge. You can use them directly from the ink pad straight through, but I think it's too strong of a look. Really.
Okay, will you show me the stencil for a second?
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that this also has been separated. So this top row of notes was used here, masked off, and then the second row is further down.
Right.
So, and I also love this saying, a friend is someone who knows the song in your heart and can sing it back when you've forgotten the words.
Isn't it
so
sweet?
Really, really nice.
So that's journaled on there, just computer journaled, or you can hand journal that on there and just sort of cut it out in sort of an abstract way.
And then look again, the ghosted look of those music notes with Happy Birthday Dazzles
so it's
on top
perfect
of it.
with those darker dazzles on top. You can still see that in the background. That's a great card.
And we haven't done a lot of layering like that, so I really think this is an excellent example. And we have another. So wow. Okay. So we've got the black and the white and the gray. Now we're going to kick it up a bit, and we have this one that's got color and music notes everywhere.
Right.
But I'm feeling this is embossed. So what gives with
embossed.
that?
So that's texture instead of just colors. You can actually feel that it's been raised. And for any of you who have been watching our webisodes, you know that you can use any of our stencils as to emboss with in your die cutting machine. Now what I've got here is I've got basically the sandwich that how you would do this, and then we're going to back out a little bit so that you can see these are 2 of the cutting platform or cutting plates that we use. And this one is from the Big Shot machine, but it would be similar in any die cutting machine. So I'm going to start with, on the top I've got one of the sandwich platform or plates. I'm going to remove that. The next thing that I've got underneath that one is this Textures embossing mat, which I believe, you can get at Paper Wishes, and it's a rubberized. It's kind of thick.
Yeah, it's a Sizzix product, and it's kind of a thin mouse pad.
Right, it's like a thin mouse pad. It's kind of stretchy, and it will
silicone rubber is what it says.
When this goes through the machine, it will push the paper through the stencil, creating an embossed look. So underneath that, I've got the paper, and then I've got the stencil. And I want to make sure that the stencil is the way I want it, is against the paper like that. So that goes down.
That's important, do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the rubber textures mat, and then that. There's your sandwich right there. And after you run it through your machine, if you get a big enough piece of paper on your stencil, this is what you get.
Wow.
So isn't that fun? So
that's so neat.
And then you can go in with distress inks, and 2 sets were used. This is number 1.
Of course it was.
And number 2. Well, it's because somebody wanted to get purple in there.
Oh,
and
well,
did some of that blue.
A worthy thing. Yes, very good.
These are relatively inexpensive for 4 different colors of inks in one set. That's what I love about them. And so
now I think there are 13
colors.
or 14 sets. Not that I'm
awesome. Awesome.
So what's been done on this is going back, doing the inking like you said on the 2 panels. So those were cut apart. Now this part has been simply cut, again, using it like a template.
Right, like a template. Trace it, cut it out, and you've got pieces to add.
And this is the red fireworks holographic paper. And so that's on this 5-inch square card, but also matting this area as well as the music note.
And then this little part here was from part of the stencil. I'm going to look at the stencil. So just mask off, mask off all around that with little pieces of paper or tape so that you can just ink through and get one little music note.
And the listen to the music is from a Dazzles that's called Music. Ta-da.
So
doesn't that work?
So that fits with that stencil perfectly. As soon as we got that stencil, we sort of started looking around. What do we have that has music, anything in it? And one of the other things we noticed is that the on butterfly wings paper pack has some music notes in some of the background pieces. So we've been using that too.
Okay, and on inside, sing and dance. Very, very fun. Yeah, excellent. So that's exactly what we meant. So these may look like two pieces of plastic to you with holes cut in them, but I'm telling you right now, it is a creative dream because there's so much you can do.
It's a kickstart for all of the different things that you can do with things you have laying around or trying something new.
Yes, and trying something new is what we're all about.
Yeah.
See you next week.